The life and life activities of man follow the laws of transmutations. At the beginning, man felt marvels in life. Nevertheless, for a long phase of development, he recalled the memories and felt that the life was as transient as a dream. From that on, he recognized and discerned that man's life is short. As such, he has tried to find ways to last his life longer. Therefore, many methods, procedures, and practices have been created, experimented, and applied. Many sects, faiths, and religious branches have been formed. In most cases, man attaches the utmost importance to the life of the flesh body only. He thus provides and nourishes it with selected foodstuff and physical exercises to increase the life powers of qi and blood. If qi and blood are healthy, the life powers of the flesh body can last longer. However, man's life is not that simple. It is very mysterious to human knowledge and understanding, for the real life is marvelous, sacred, and miraculous. The real life includes and gets animated by many elements and many invisible organs. Those are the lives of the body, the heart, the mind, the character, and the super mind. The marvel exists in the body, but the sacredness and miracles happen in the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the super mind. The body connects with the external sceneries and the natural state of the visible world, but the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the supermind animate in the flesh body and relate with the supernature and the supernature of the supernatural world and the supernatural world. It is difficult to perceive. Therefore, most people can appreciate marvels in the visible world through the 5 natural sense organs, yet are unable to discern the sacredness and the miraculousness that have existed in the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the supermind. Man's life gets many underlying foundations and infrastructures, which are the different specific lives of the body, the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the supermind. Each specific life has its definite life power. They vary in forms and living durations. The life of the body is the flesh body, and its life powers are qi and blood. The life power of blood is the refined power, but the living form of the flesh body is called the colored shape of body. The animation of the flesh body is sensations, and the means that produce the sensations are the sense organs. They convey the sensational signs to the mind, which receives the bodily feelings but does not realize yet the cause and the conditions of the sensational excitement. After realizing the sensations, the mind thinks and knows the hidden cause animating in those phenomena. The living duration of the flesh body is short. It can last for 100 years, more or less. For that reason, experimenting people look for effective ways to foster the other lives and life powers right within their life's activities. Those are the electric's life and the light's life. Human electric animates in the nervous system and in the brain, while the light vivifies in the brain only. Regarding life's activities, human electric exists in the heart, the nervous system, and the brain, while the light in the mind, the brain. The life of the body, the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the supermind animate in the flesh body, but all life's powers exist in 2 parts, the body and the head. Qi and blood circulate throughout the whole body and the head. Electric and the light centralize in the head, which means the entire brain contains the animation of the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the superminds. The electric and the light centralize in the head, but they spread in the whole body. Thanks to this diffusion, all related phenomena of the body are perceived by the electric and the light, and as such conducted into the brain. The exceptional wonder about man is that all of the 5 natural sense organs are located in the head. This means that the signals are conducted to the brain in the shortest way. In brief, all means connecting with the 3 cosmic worlds exist only in the head, i.e., all descendants and ascendants transmutations of life, life's powers, blood, Qi, electric, and light centralize in the brain. Explicitly, this shows that the functions of descendants and ascendants transmutations of the life and the life's powers of man gather in the brain. Marvels and marvelousness exist in the flesh body, but miraculousness is in the heart, the character, the mind, the supermind, and the supermind. In reality, the life of the flesh body also depends on the head, for the organ that inhales air from man to live is in the nose, located on the head too. Thus, only the head is marvelous and miraculous, where all natural, supernatural, and supernatural matters gather. The head is the concentration place of the 3 natural, supernatural, and supernatural lives, of the 3 life's powers and the 3 main forms of lives, the flesh body, the electric body, and the light body. Also, it is the place that conducts the descendant and ascendant transmutations of all powers and energy, refined power, superpower, mystic power, and cosmic energy, and receives the perceptive sensations, intuition, and superintuition. All are related to the head, but in fact, all marvels and miracles take place in the brain. Therefore, the one who knows thoroughly the mysterious mechanism of the brain can transmute all powers and energy within himself. Being able to transmute all powers and energy, one can control and command the mysterious mechanism of his brain and becomes the real master of his small cosmos. That means he can last longer the life of his flesh body, of the electric body, or acquire the perpetual life, real life. The longevity of the flesh body depends on the power of red blood and yang qi. The long lives of Qi body and electric body rely on the strength of Qi and electric, and the perpetual life is provided by the light. In the cosmos, the descendants and ascendants transmutations of powers and energy operate in an automatic and natural manner, which is caused by the mysterious motion of the divine mechanism. In man, the descendants' transmutation happens in an automatic and natural way, while the ascendants' transmutation depends on the subjectivity of the mind that commands the motion in human mechanism. The functions of descendants' transmutation and ascendants' transmutation of the life and life's powers is in the head, but the automatic and natural descendants' transmutation takes place in the whole body. The automatic and natural descendant transmutation can be identified plainly in the flesh body, specifically in its color and its shape. The flesh body sometimes gets fat or thin, good complexion or pale. All of these are influenced by the transmutations and by the increase or decrease of the powers of Qi and blood. A fluctuation of the powers of Qi and blood modifies the shape of the flesh body. Nevertheless, the transmutations of Qi and blood always remain automatic and natural, even when man is sleeping or in a suspension of consciousness. The automatic and natural descendants transmutation of qi and blood develops flesh and bones in women more quickly than in men. Footnote: flesh and bones of women develop more quickly, and for the exactly same reason, they decrease faster than in men. Women's longevity is less than men's. The majority of persons that reach 100 years of age are men. End of footnote. Normally, the wisdom teeth grow at the age of 32 in men, but 28 in women. In the period of descendants transmutation, flesh and bones develop vigorously, and so do the sensations, and the sensual pleasures of the flesh body are also at the highest level. In the flesh body, when the descendants transmutation reaches its utmost, it changes to another period, which is the decline. The state of decline of a substance means the state is changing to the ascendant's transmutation. Much like when water evaporates, its quantity decreases, but the vapor increases proportionally. In men, when the powers of qi and blood diminish, the power of human electric increases. In other words, when the perceptive sensations decrease, the intuition of men's and the supersense organs begin to operate. The decline in the state of a substance is the beginning of the evolution in the state of another substance, much like the 4 seasons of a year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Spring and summer are in descendants transmutation. Autumn and winter are in ascendants transmutation. In spring, flowers blossom. In summer, plants bear fruits. In autumn, leaves wither, and in winter, leaves fall off. In the descendants transmutation of seasons, there are birth and maturity. In the ascendant transmutation, enduringness and destruction. In enduringness and in destruction, however, it is not a complete destruction, but this simply shows that the descendant transmutation has reached its climax, from which a new germ of life is accumulated and constitutes a new cycle of transmutation. The same to the life of man. When the flesh body reaches its maximum development, a new foundation begins to operate. Much as when the sensual pleasures of the flesh body reach the highest degree, the pleasures gradually decrease, and simultaneously the joy of the heart begins its cycle. The activities of the heart and the sharpness of the supersense organs come into being. This is the natural process of a common life. If one knows this course, he can evolve quickly. The right and genuine Taoists only teach about quick evolution. That means they only foster human electric of the heart to gain the supernatural longevity, or nourishing the light of the super mind to acquire a persistent life of the light body. The human electric and the light are constituted from the earth through the heart and the mind. In such natural conditions, when man is in his youth, the flesh body gets the effective activity, but in middle age or old age, the qualities and the active state gather in the heart and the mind. An aged person can endure his thinking much longer than an immature person, because the mind and the heart of the former are more durable and resilient. The effective activity of the genuine heart produces virtues, and the genuine mind originates Tao's characters, thanks to the inner connections. The flesh body follows the law of birth, maturity, enduringness, and destruction, but the heart and the mind are the organs with invisible energies. They only have birth without death. That means they get the super longevity and, to the utmost degree, the perpetual life. The heart and the mind can get the super longevity and the perpetual life, and they exist in the head, in the brain. Thus, The brain contains the super longevity and the perpetual life. The body belongs to the death, but the heart and the mind continue to exist, and they are both engendered by the body. Therefore, it suffices to say that the life already exists in the death. The heart and the mind are the long and perpetual lives, and as such, they are considered to be absolutely precious, and so is their container, the body. Because without the body, how could the heart and the mind come into being in the very first place? And without the birth and the death of the body, how could the super longevity of the heart and the perpetual life of the mind be obtained? The preciousness of the body is that it contains not only the life, but also hosts the descendants and ascendants transmutations. It is both the host and producers of sensations. From the production of sensations comes the transmutation to feelings and thoughts. In other words, in the life of the flesh body exist the descendant transmutations and the ascendant transmutations of the four sacred substances, blood, chi, electric, and light, in the three main bodies, flesh, electric, light bodies, related to the three cosmic worlds, the natural, supernatural, supernatural ones. The flesh body holds four sacred substances. 4 multiplied with yang and yin equal 8. The electric body holds two sacred substances, electric and light. 2 multiplies with yang and yin equal 4. The light body gets animated with one sacred substance, the light. 1 multiplies with yang and yin equal 2. From the flesh body, other lighter and more durable bodies are constituted. In reality, the transmutations of many bodies do take place, but people know nothing about these transmutations or do not intentionally consider them. That means these transmutations happen in a natural way without continuity, and there is no evident separation of bodies. The natural ascendant transmutation in people results from the characteristic bearing of life. It modifies the increase or decrease of electric and light in the flesh body. When a person spends his life in the activity of feelings, the substance of chi agitates violently, and the chi body within his flesh body animates, but the two bodies are incapable of detaching from each other. At that moment, all of the four sacred substances are still animating: blood, chi, electric, and light. However, chi power moves more intensely than the others. Other powers, namely electric and light, are influenced by the descendant transmutation and naturally flow into chi's power. The quantity of chi increases, but the electric and the light decrease proportionally in terms of intensity. When a substance fluctuates more violently than the others, and the other substances are still connected with the substance in point, the separation of another type of body out of the flesh body cannot be obtained. The voluntary ascendant transmutation used to separate any type of body from the flesh body can be performed when the animations of two substances, electric and light, or of one substance, light, detach from the other substances, namely chi, blood, or electric, chi and blood, while the latter are still vitalizing. The effect of all ascendant transmutations is the evolution, but the natural ascendant transmutation is the evolution of a normal life in the natural world, while the voluntary ascendant transmutation is the evolution of the supernatural life in the supernatural world, and the supernatural life in the supernatural world. The evolution in man's body is caused by the ascendant transmutation, which results from the descendant transmutation, which is caused by motion or animation. From animation comes descendant transmutation, then ascendant transmutation, and finally evolution. The life and life powers of the cosmos and of all creatures and living beings animate. Whether this animation is perceptible or imperceptible to the sense organs, it is always there. The extreme state of the course of animation is that all creatures and living beings must follow this permanent law, the evolution. So does man. In man's body, man can observe clearly and evidently the animation in the course of evolution in himself. In short, animation leads to evolution. How does the evolution proceed in man's body? The evolution in man's body happens under different aspects and in many ways, but the goal towards which man directs his efforts is the supernatural longevity and the perpetual life. Few people are able to ascertain and identify this real life, but to most average people, if they ever can, they only know the limited life of the flesh body and the process of the flesh body in the activities of the social life. The flesh body animates and produces sensations through the sense organs. The sensations transmute ascendantly into feelings and thoughts. Finally, sensations, feelings, and thoughts constitute the knowing and understanding, which is also man's evolution. The process of descendant and ascendant transmutations in the flesh body to general knowing and understanding, i.e., the process from animations to evolution, creates other life powers in man's body. From the animation, the flesh body gets sensations. Sensations then transmute to feelings, which animate in the heart. Sensations and feelings produce thoughts, which animate in the mind. The body engenders the heart and the mind, or the heart engenders the mind. There are two aspects in the evolution, descendant transmutation and ascendant transmutation. But there are two types of descendant transmutation, involuntary and voluntary. The involuntary descendant transmutation takes place naturally and through the sense organs through which sensations are originated. Involuntary descendant transmutation, sensations are originated with the involvement of thoughts. Because of the involvement of thoughts in the flesh body, numerous other sensations are engendered. The characteristics of sensations in the flesh body is sometimes simple, but occasionally many sensations gather in a complex combination. So, the descendant transmutation itself continues to transmute descendantly and also ascendantly. 1. From the mind come thoughts. The heart produces feelings, the body sensations. And from the body to the heart to the mind, or from sensations to feelings and thoughts, is ascendant transmutation. 2. The mind produces thoughts which engender other thoughts. The heart produces feelings which engender other feelings. The body produces sensations which engender other sensations. So from the mind to the heart to the body is the descendant transmutation. Up to now, it is evident that the material life, the sentimental, moral, intellectual life, and the spiritual life must undergo the two-way transmutations. The descendant transmutation goes downwards, while the ascendant transmutation goes upwards. That means the material life, the sentimental, moral, intellectual life, and the spiritual life or states must change in accordance with the permanent laws within man's body. The evolution of quality in man's body is the change from the material state to sentimental, moral, intellectual state, i.e. from sensations to feelings and to thoughts. The last two belong to the heart and the mind. The flesh body is the main part in natural connection with the material nature, while the heart and the mind are in moral, sentimental, and intellectual state. The flesh body gets the life and life's powers, and so do the heart and the mind, both originating from the flesh body. It suffices to say that the material life gets its life and life's powers, and so does the moral, sentimental, intellectual life. Normally, the life's powers of the heart and the mind of mature people are stronger than those of immature young ones. Therefore, when young people encounter mental dolors, they can hardly confront with it. This explains why the number of suicides is higher among young people than among aged ones. The evolution in man's life engenders other lives and life's powers from the flesh body. Each life gets its own activities. Thanks to the intensity and duration of its activities, its life's powers are displayed. The intensity and duration of sensations manifest the life's powers of the flesh body, while the intensity and duration of feelings display the life's powers of the heart. The characteristics of evolution is the increase. In man's body, this means the life of the flesh body continues existence to the lives of the heart and the mind, i.e., the life's powers of the flesh body persist in those of the electric body, and those of the electric body continue to persist in those of the light body. In other words, the limited life of the flesh body connects with the supernatural longevity of the electric body. It lasts longer and joins the perpetual life of the light body. The direction of evolution, or the time that increases the life's powers, begins from outside to inside. Footnote: time increases life's powers. The longer one lives, the more supernatural and supernatural life power he has in his body. On the contrary, if an infant dies, his heart and mind are not yet developed, thus his supernatural and supernatural life's powers are not much evolved. End of footnote. The evolution, or the increase of life's powers from outside to inside, includes two methods: conducting the physiological function of the inner powers, or conducting the psychological function related to the inner powers. Man's life is always in the process of evolution, starting from the refined powers of chi and blood of the flesh body to the mystic power of electric, yang, yin of the heart, and to the cosmic energy in the mind, the yang and the yin of the light of the mind constituted on the earth. In man's body, the power that gets higher intensity is less in weight. In man's body, all powers spread in either direction, outwards and inwards. The power that spreads outside of the body transmutes descendantly, while the power that spreads inside of the body transmutes ascendantly. Both the descendants and ascendants transmutations depend on man himself. That means man has domination over all of his inner powers. He himself can create all inner powers and energy, namely the refined power, the superpower, the mystic power, and the cosmic energy right within his small cosmos. But also right from himself, these powers are consumed or wasted. If the power fluctuates and lacks stability, its intensity decreases. If the power animates in a steady state without sudden change, its intensity increases. The power that moves in a steady state and animates only inside the body without external expansion is called inner power. The inner powers include superpower, mystic power, and cosmic energy. The power that fluctuates, moves in a state of instability, and spreads outside the body is called outer power. The inner powers animate, their intensity increases. The outer power fluctuates, thus its intensity diminishes. Virtues animate in a steady state, therefore the intensity of human electric increases, meaning that the mystic power augments. On the contrary, feelings fluctuate and diffuse outside the body. Consequently, the intensity of Chi's power decreases. Animation leads to evolution. This is the permanent law of both the cosmos and man. The descendant and ascendant transmutations are the two directions of the synchronous animation of evolution. Man also animates and evolves in these two directions, but he passes through three aspects of life: body, heart, and mind. In the mother's womb, the unborn young lives and animates in accordance with the descendant's transmutations. When the baby is born, he lives through ascendant transmutations with a greater amount and quantity of sacred substances. To man, the period of ascendant transmutation is most important because if his judgment of the values of the three aspects of life, body, heart, mind, is not accurate, the ascendant transmutation will not be highly effective. This requires one to know precisely the living periods of the body, the heart, and the mind. The three aspects of life engender three kinds of lives, namely the material life, the sentimental, moral, and intellectual life, and the spiritual life. Also, these three kinds of life and ways of living originate many methods, schools, sciences, arts, religions, and Taoist systems. The material life belongs to the body. In order to prolong the life of the flesh body and to improve its physical conditions and beauty, man has invented many ways such as sports, exercises, and systems of physical activities and engaged in fostering inner powers. The sentimental, moral, intellectual life connects with the heart and the mind, feelings, virtues, thoughts. The heart and the mind are related closely to the natural phenomena and supernatural data, based on which man devises, thinks, and invents many branches of sciences, technologies, arts, etc. The spiritual life belongs to Tao, the inner activities of the heart and the mind. Genuine heart, super heart, genuine mind, supermind, and supermind, meaning that the heart and the mind of man are related to and unite with the supernature and the supernature. In order to comprehend the methods, schools, Tao, etc., first of all, man must know thoroughly the law of descendant transmutation in the cosmos. Then he can discern the slow or rapid effect of evolution through the applied methods, schools, and Tao in ascendant transmutations. In descendant transmutations, lighter substances engender heavier ones. The lighter the substance, the stronger the power of transmutation. The heavier the substance, the weaker the power of transmutation. Take electric, a light substance. Its power of transmutation is strong. The light of the intelligent mind is extremely light, so light that it seems as if non-existent. Thus, its power of transmutation is extremely strong. On the contrary, metal is heavy, thus its power of transmutation is weak. The little originates the very much. The absolute one engenders many things, from many to infinite number. The infinite descendants transmutations of the cosmos reveals to man their perpetual existence and transmutation. The high speed engenders the medium speed, and the latter originates the slow speed. The sunlight exceeds the wind speed, but the light of the intelligence mind is lighter than other lights. Thus, it surpasses the sunlight. The light of the intelligence mind passes through the sunlight and other lights. Therefore, it can know and be aware of whatever that are contained in those lights. The smaller one gives birth to the larger one, small in terms of units, but it engenders the bigger ones in terms of substance. For example, the unit of the light of the mind is smaller than the unit of electric. The electric unit is smaller than a unit of Qi. The Qi unit is smaller than a molecule of water. Briefly, many units of lighter substances animate in a unit of transmuted substance, and the descendant transmutation continues that way to the ultimate transmuted substance. And the least one exists already in the most one, such as the unique light of the mind, which engenders countless thoughts, and vice versa. In each of the thoughts, the light of the mind animates. This means the final state already exists in the Absolute One. High speed engenders medium one, medium speed originates slow one. In other words, the absolute speed already exists in the other speeds or passes through the medium and slow speeds. The medium speed exists within or passes through the slower one. In any substance, its character already exists. Regarding the natural ascendance transmutation of the cosmos and creatures, when the substance changes, its character alters as well. People who are aware of the function of the inner powers can change the character first, so as to put other systematically related characteristics into automatic changes. The genuine and right Taoists always practice the methods that change the character of the heart and the mind first. When the character is changed, the substances of the inner powers transmute simultaneously. In heavier substances, the lighter ones and the extremely light one already exist, but a lighter substance cannot be detached from a heavier one unless there is a catalyst. For example, if the air in water is to be converted into vapor, it must be heated either by the sun or by fire or by electricity to a high enough degree of heat to be detached from water. Man has the capability to direct an ascendant transmutation from a limited life to a longer or perpetual life. The nature of the life is in the sacred substances, in its life's powers, and the substance of the life's powers exists in the character of the life. There are two ways to realize the ascendant transmutation in man: transmutation by substance and transmutation by character. 1. Transmutation by substance. This is to separate a lighter substance from a heavier one. For example, to take electric out of qi and blood, the practitioner must use a catalyst, of which the most effective one is the light of the mind. Applying this method, man uses his mind to observe his breaths, or his mind sheds its light onto the breaths, much as the sunlight flashes light continuously on the water surface. The light catalyzes the breaths until the circuit of inhalation and exhalation stops completely. Then the human electric separates from qi. In other words, thanks to the catalyzing effect of the light of the mind, the long life electric, is detached from the short time, qi and blood. 2. In transmutation by character, the catalyzing effect by a lighter substance is not needed. Instead, the heart animates continually without interruption, thus it creates a heart energy, i.e., it gets a long and specific life. When it becomes a specific life, it can detach from the body. In the heart's energy, there are 3 kinds of energy: the vulgar heart's energy, the genuine heart's energy, and the super heart's energy. Each of them is able to separate from the body when it gets adequate characteristics and conditions, as in the death of the flesh body, in the temporary death lasting for a short time, in states of inanimation, interruption of sensations, rapture, ecstasy. The mind also belongs to the character of the life. If the mind's energy and the mind's power, the vulgar heart, the vulgar mind's power, the genuine mind's energy, the super mind's energy, super mind's energy, acquire enough qualities and characteristics, they can detach from the heart and the flesh body, as in death, temporary death, rapture, ecstasy, and become a specific life without connection to the body and the heart. In short, man's life is a synthesis of separate elements, life's powers, and substances, sacred substances, with different characters and natures. Normally, the whole animates in a state of interrelation until the death happens, when they dissociate and then unite with the corresponding substances, characters, and life's powers in the cosmos. In other words, each sacred substance disperses and unites anew into the corresponding sacred substance already existing in the 3 cosmic worlds. In the transmutation by character, one character must pause or stop so that another can begin to animate, or other characters must stop for the unique character to start animating. The transmutation of character entails the transmutation of substance. The heart's powers include 3 kinds: that of the vulgar heart, that of the genuine heart, and that of the super heart. If the heart is used as a character to transmute, the substance of the heart is also influenced and changed. For example, the character of the genuine heart is put into ascendant transmutation, i.e., virtues are used as permanent activities. The power of the vulgar heart then will be changed into genuine's power, or when the genuine heart animates, all powers that belong to the genuine heart animate too. The evolution of the heart draws along the evolution of the related substances. However, the power intensity differs from person to person. The heart's power of children is weaker than that of adults because the latter undergoes more feelings and virtues than the former. Thus, the life's powers of the electric body of the latter are mightier. The evolution becomes more obvious. When the flesh body is dead, all life's powers, the heart's power, the mind's power, and the super mind's energy scatter out of the body. Regarding the heart's power, depending on which kind of heart the person operates when being alive, then when his flesh body is lifeless, the power of that kind of heart spreads out and joins the corresponding world. Usually, our heart's power is related to 2 cosmic worlds. It unites with the 2 cosmic substances and animates at the speed of the power. Each kind of heart connects with the mind of the same level. The vulgar heart connects with the mind, the genuine heart with the genuine mind, and the super heart with the super mind. Therefore, when the power of a kind of heart spreads simultaneously, the corresponding mind diffuses also. For example, in a dream, the superheart operates in the supernatural world. The supermind also functions effectively in that same world. The superheart is said to function, but in fact, the electric body animates in the supernatural world and the super sense organs operate. In other words, the source of the super sense organs in the superheart perceives the signals without the intermediary means of the 5 natural sense organs. The information caused by the electric waves in the supernatural world is received by the nervous system of the super sense organs and brought to the brain. Having the supernatural quality, the superheart can receive different kinds of signals. From a signal, it can discern all 5 characteristics. For example, through a sound, an image can be seen, or from the image, a sound can be heard, and its smell and flavor can be aware of through its color. Man is a small cosmos, therefore, the ascendant transmutation and the descendant transmutation happening in the 3 small worlds are also related to the 3 cosmic worlds.